2016 election. With the reaction is attorney and conservative activist Keith Gross. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today. This is getting better by the day. If you look at what was released today, it says Russia did not aspire to help Trump, but Obama later ordered a rewrite of intel to say that it. So first it said no, but then it's saying that Obama later ordered it to say it did. Not looking good for him today. What's your take on this?
Well, it's not looking good for Obama at all. I mean, this appears to be one of the worst abuses of presidential authority, perhaps in our history. This makes Watergate look tame. If you watched the press conference recently held by Tulsi Gabbard, she went into great detail about these documents and how not only was there no evidence that Russia was working to help Donald Trump get elected, they were in fact looking forward to a Hillary Clinton win because they had dirt on her. Then you saw in the evidence that was released that, like you said, the intelligence report at the time did not show any evidence of Russia collusion with Donald Trump. And Obama ordered them to go and rewrite it to fit his political narrative. If that's not treason, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and you know, President Trump has said it over and over again that Obama is the mastermind behind this. He commented just this week. He says others are at fault as well. Let's take a listen to what Trump had to say.
Director of National Intelligence. Oh, where's Tulsi? She's like hotter than everybody. She's the hottest one in the room right now because she found out with certainty. I think we knew it before, in all fairness, Tulsi. But now you have certainty. She has all the documents. She has everything that you need. And she found out that Barack Hussein Obama led a group of people and they cheated in the elections, and they cheated without question. It's not even a question. Would you say there's even a little question there, Tulsi? She says no. And you found things that nobody thought we'd ever find. And very happy and very honored to have you with us. She's right now, by far, Speaker, she's hotter than you right now, Speaker. She's the hottest person in the room right now, Speaker. So, Tulsi, great job, and I know you have a lot more coming. She told me you've seen nothing yet. So I heard those rumors about you, but now I know they're true. So we're very proud of you, Tulsi. They cheated so badly, and ultimately it led to a loss in 2020, and it shouldn't have been a loss. It was a big victory. We won by a lot. We had to do it again. But if I thought we lost, I would never have run again. And this is a far more consequential election than it would have been if we did. That's the only thing I can say in favor of it. But
yeah, and so that was him saying that Tulsi is the hottest person in the room right now. And, you know, Keith, I have to agree. She's on fire right now.
She is on fire. She's doing some important work for the president's administration and really picking up where Kash Patel and Rick Grinnell left off at the end of the last term when they were working to declassify those Crossfire Hurricane documents. You know, that's one of the things that a lot of us believe the DOJ was after when they went to the unprecedented step of raiding Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. Now it's clear that that didn't work. Tulsi Gabbard's out there. She's sending the documents out to the DOJ, and hopefully we'll see some indictments of these corrupt Obama officials.
Yeah, and you know, we're hoping for that. The American people are hoping for that. It was a huge surprise today, Keith, when Tulsi Gabbard showed up at the press conference with Caroline Leavitt. Usually Caroline's by herself, and standing right behind her today was Tulsi Gabbard, and she gave a speech that would knock you off your feet. Let's see what she has to say now regarding Obama. Take a listen to this.
At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified Oversight Majority Staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
Keith, your take on that?
I agree. We all deserve justice. We want accountability. If we let the things that happened under the Obama administration go unanswered, what sort of message does that send? I mean, we saw our U.S. intelligence apparatus weaponized against then-candidate Trump, plant false intelligence, and ultimately derail his first term. This was completely wrong. We've all known it was wrong, and now accountability is on the way.
Yeah, and it's not good to be Obama today. And you know, he's not the only one. Hillary's name was brought up as well. I was actually getting text messages from friends today as Tulsi was speaking at the podium, and Hillary was a big topic amongst so many people. Take a listen to what she had to say.
The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
So Keith, was this a scheme amongst several friends putting this together against President Trump?
It seems like it was a pretty widespread scheme. I mean, this, you recall the Steele dossier and how that was essentially funded by the Clinton campaign. And then, as Tulsi Gabbard pointed out, it's not just that Russia was not helping Donald Trump. It's that they wanted Hillary Clinton to be elected, and they were going to wait until she was elected and then reveal all of the negative information they had about her in hopes of getting a better negotiating position with the United States. So the idea that the Obama administration would corrupt all of the accurate intelligence and completely twist reality and pitch a false story to Americans, that should upset everyone. And I mean, at this point, I suppose we're not surprised. We're pretty accustomed to Democrats doing corrupt things. We were just talking about Letitia James and her corruption, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got to start holding people accountable, or we're not going to see change in America.
You know, in 2016, President Trump came out in the beginning and said he wanted to drain the swamp. And here we are in 2025, and he has this team in there, Tulsi Gabbard, just coming at them left and right, revealing what we felt like we knew all along, but it's finally coming to light. And so, every day there's a little more that they're giving us and a little more that they're giving us. And so what do you think will happen next? If you're President Obama, Hillary Clinton, obviously you're lawyering up.
They better be lawyering up, because there's going to be a lot of subpoenas, a lot of investigation going on. Draining the swamp is not an easy task. God bless President Trump and his efforts to do that. I'm thankful we have a president who's willing to disrupt the status quo, who isn't looking the other way, who's willing to work to drain that swamp. As any Florida man can tell you, draining the swamp sounds easier than it is, because gators bite back, and those folks in the swamp, they're going to fight back too. So we have to make sure that we have President Trump's back, that we back him up with our friends, our neighbors, and that the DOJ does their job and runs this down all the way to sentencing.
You mentioned the subpoenas coming up. Representative Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, she actually put that out today. She said this: as soon as we return from break, I'll be calling for a subpoena through the GOP oversight for Comey, John Brennan, and James Clapper regarding their roles in the fraudulent Russia hoax. She says this: retain your attorneys now and start raising money. You're going to need it. It's very unfortunate, Keith, that they're going on break for such a long period of time because, we've got the momentum right now and we really don't need to slow down.
It is unfortunate that they're going to go on break. I wish they would pause that because there's a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, the reality is all those subpoenas are going to be met with people sitting in a chair and taking the Fifth Amendment. We're already seeing it with the Biden administration auto pen. That investigation is also being held right now by the House committees. And the staffers that essentially undertook a coup and took over control of our country via auto pen have already been raising their Fifth Amendment rights in response to subpoenas.
Yes, and we're going to get to more of that here in a little bit on Spin Room. And you brought up the auto pen. Our reporter in D.C., Allison Steinberg, was able to ask Caroline Leavitt about that yesterday. Let's take a listen to Caroline Leavitt's response because this auto pen is something that LindellTV broke last year. We asked about it in a press conference, in a press briefing. Caroline Leavitt responded. Then Trump took off with it, and here we are really investigating the auto pen scandal. Let's go to that and take a listen to what Caroline had to say just yesterday.
Sure. Do you have any insight as to when the auto pen pardons may be invalidated? And if so, does the president have any plans to ultimately arrest Fauci? This is critical to the fact base.
I don't have any information about the pardons, but I have told you and will say again, the White House counsel's office is investigating the potential abuse of the auto pen from the previous administration. This is a really important question to get to the bottom of, and the White House is working with the Department of Justice to do that.
Yeah, so when are these pardons coming, or these pardons weren't legit. So when are they going to come out with that? Because how hard is it? And I'm sure they're really investigating this because it is a huge deal and a huge crime if he in fact used an auto pen. But I don't think that this would be a very long investigation because you can tell the difference between when someone signs their name on a check with a pen versus when someone stamps their name on a check. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the use of the auto pen itself isn't necessarily improper. Much like we use electronic signatures in everyday life with DocuSign or something, the key is that there is a knowing authorization to affix that signature to a given document. And the reason that's a problem for Biden is that he's now put his foot in his mouth. Big surprise, right? But he gave an interview to Fox News where he outright stated that he did not know the names on the documents that were being signed by auto pen. Well, you can't consent to something if you don't know what it says. So back to that DocuSign example, it would be the equivalent of a contract being sent to you for signature, but your 8-year-old kid logging in and clicking sign, sign, sign on your email. That wouldn't be a binding signature because you didn't give your authorization. It doesn't matter that it's got your name at the bottom of the page.
Right. And so, other people who should be sweating it out right now, Fauci, he's the main one that the Americans want to get cleared of this pardon, because people still aren't happy about what happened during COVID-19, and he pardoned Fauci, apparently, but we don't think that he did because it was an auto pen probably that was used. So people like Fauci should be shaking in their boots today as well.
I imagine they are, because the possibility of undoing all of those pardons is real. If the DOJ is able to assert and get evidence that shows that Biden did not give consent for the use of that auto pen, then the auto pen signature is invalid, and any document that had it attached to it would be invalid. So you bet you're right. The folks like Fauci who are relying on immunity via those pardons they should be concerned, because as soon as the pardons are removed from the process, they're going to be indicted.
I want to bring this up before we let you go, Keith. Ghislaine Maxwell was just, a subpoena was issued for her in the Epstein investigation. That is going to be huge. I believe she is going to be subpoenaed to Florida on August 11th. That just coming into the LindellTV studios, breaking the Epstein situation. The saga there is going to continue because the Americans are hammering away at getting answers in that case as well.
And let's hope they do. You know, the odd thing about this whole Epstein information that's gone missing is that now apparently they are seeking information that only this particular witness has, potentially offering her some deal to provide that information to the government. It begs the question, what happened to all of these records that the Democrats had under the Biden administration, the Obama administration, and then as soon as Trump gets into office, they sent something over to Pam Bondi's office. And obviously, it wasn't the records they expected to have, because now they're having to run down a witness to get information that we all expected the government to already know.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping our eyes out on that. Again, mark your calendars, America. August 11th, Ghislaine Maxwell in Florida for a subpoena. Keith, so good to see you. Thanks for coming on today. You're on X. Tell everyone how they can follow you.
Yeah, follow me on X. I'm on all social media platforms at KeithGrossFL, and I'd love to engage with you more on there.
All right, sounds good. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today.